What's good, faithful? You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Coming up on today's show, 49ers News and Rumors Mailbag as part of our live shows. We go live every single Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. So all these questions coming from our loyal subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, you ain't alive, but you can take part of that and just hit that red subscribe button down below. First question coming in from Katie Boy. It's a $2 super chat. Keep pushing Chase, you the man. Really appreciate that and that donation. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to push out free daily videos covering the latest 49ers news and rumors right here on the channel. Hugo De Jesus just showing love with a 99-cent super chat. All of the donations that come in, it gives us food money, it gives us beer money, it allows us to do what we do, which is providing the faithful with the best 49ers content on YouTube. Okay, excited to get to this one. Do you think the 49ers need to address every position to win the Super Bowl next year? Look, I think everybody is kind of in shambles right now with the lack of trading for Jimmy Garoppolo and the whole Deebo Samuel contract mess. At the end of the day, this is a team that is equipped to make another deep run in the playoffs. And I understand that if Trey Lance is the starter this upcoming year, a lot of people are going to have reservations about him lacking experience. But I think he adds another dynamic element to this offense. He makes Kyle Shanahan's offense even more explosive. I think the Niners are going to be just fine, folks. And I think they need to address some of those areas of need in the NFL draft, remaining in NFL free agency. But I think this roster is in a good spot, especially when you couple that with the fact that Kyle Shanahan is a very good head coach. Next question coming in from Jason. What's Deebo Samuel's trade value and what teams could offer a decent package for him? He has great trade value. I think that if you're the Niners right now, you blew the Jimmy Garoppolo trade scenario. Before he got that shoulder surgery, I think he could have gotten you a second or third round pick. Then he gets that surgery without seeking out the advice from the Niners, which was weird at the time. Then his trade value tanked in addition to the crazy quarterback movement. Deebo Samuel, it's a completely different story. I think you can get a couple of first-round picks back for him, maybe and/or an impact player. Deebo Samuel's a special player. He impacts games as a running back, as a wide receiver. What he did last year was one-of-one stuff. He had the most rushing touchdowns in the history of the league for a wide receiver. He invented a new position. He was a game breaker and a game changer, and he's still pretty young. Now, the big concern for a team trading for him and for the 49ers offering him $25 to $30 million per year. He's never played a full season yet in his NFL career, but when he's on the field, this guy is absolutely special. Have a trivia question now that I want to ask you, and at the end of the show, at some point, I am going to reveal the answer, so make sure you stay tuned for that. What 49er was the first NFL player with 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in a single season? Let me know. Get your answers in for this trivia question into the comment section right now. And again, I will reveal that answer later on in this mailbag. Chucky Hands, who's an NFL draft prospect sleeper? It's a good question. I mean, there are so many of them. If you're watching us live, if you're watching after the fact, I put together a first full mock draft going 7 rounds, all 9 selections. And within that NFL draft, there are a couple of sleepers, but let's focus in here on Tariq Castro-Fields. Producer Coop, put up that scouting profile. Good stuff by you, fetching that really quickly. He's athletic, has some spring to his step, really good speed as a cornerback coming out of Penn State, and Penn State has developed pro prospects at a crazy rate under James Franklin. Franklin's game management's been terrible. His recruiting and player development has been awesome, though. Really like Tariq Castro-Fields' footwork as a corner, makes plays at the catch point. He's physical against the run, too, so you can play him in that slot. You can play him outside. You can even send him in on blitz packages as well. His weakness, he needs to add weight, especially to his lower frame. But I think Tariq Castro-Fields, if you can get him in like the 4th round, which is where I had him mocked to the 49ers, that would be a steal, and I think some people are sleeping on him. Marquise Bell, the safety out of Florida A&M, another one of those sleepers. And honestly, I would have said Nick Cross, the safety out of Maryland, back a couple weeks ago. He continues to climb up draft boards, though. A lot of people are expecting him to go early, potentially in that 2nd round. You let me know who your favorite NFL draft sleeper is in the comment section. If you have more than one, give me a name or names down below. BK from the Bay, Do you, in your opinion, think he's worth that kind of money, knowing he's only had one good productive season? Your thoughts. So you're talking about Deebo Samuel. I do think he's worth it. I'm hoping that with advances in training, in advances with pliability, flexibility, and finding a way to work out some of those soft tissue injuries that Deebo Samuel has had so far in his NFL career, that he's going to be able to stay healthy. Now, I do have some concerns about how he ages because he plays a physical style. He plays running back that opens himself up for getting hit a lot. But look, I think a lot of people don't realize this in the moment, but the NFL salary cap is going to continue to rise. And right now, quarterbacks, top 10, average annual value, $40 million. Wide receiver numbers in terms of salaries are only going to continue to rise. So if you get Deebo Samuel at like $25 million, maybe a little bit more, in a couple of years that could end up being good value. Also, there's this. NFL contracts are really tricky. It's all about the guaranteed money. So if you backload that contract and give Deebo Samuel a lot of guaranteed money upon signing, then you save yourself if he isn't available later on in that contract and if he doesn't age all that well. So there are some discrepancies and some loopholes that you can find with these NFL contracts. But to answer your question, I do think he's worth it because of what he did last year, and I don't think that that's going to change moving forward because he's a special player. Now, you can watch the 49ers Report on YouTube. You can also catch us on Rumble. And we've done a great job of really developing a large following on the 49ers Report on YouTube as we approach 60,000 subs. We're trying to do the same on Rumble. And an added incentive for you to follow us on Rumble, if you plug in that link down below, rumble.com/49erstv, then hit that green follow button on the Rumble app. You can watch 49ers Report videos even if you close your screen out on your phone. That's a feature you have to pay for on YouTube. But also, sometimes we go live exclusively on Rumble and then push out content that you can only find on Rumble. So give us a follow, rumble.com/49erstv in advance. I appreciate your support. Next question coming in from Brian. Do you see the 49ers trading up into the first round or early second? I don't. I think that's actually unrealistic because they don't have a first round pick until 2024, and they lack some of the necessary capital to move into that first round because they're already light on some premier draft picks. Now, this year, they have 9 selections, but a couple of 5th-round picks, a couple of 6th-round picks, I do not envision them moving up into the first round. I think it costs too much. I forget what Lucius told me how to pronounce his name. It's not Luscious. I know that. What is it? Lucius? I think it's Lucius. So I hope I got that right. And then Chualora to kick off the mailbag. Hopefully I got that right as well. I wish sometimes I could have a voice memo from you guys to break down how to pronounce your name so I don't butcher it. But I appreciate the question either way. I live Deebo, who doesn't in the faithful, but if he's asking to be paid after one healthy season, let alone wanting to be paid top 3 minimum, if he has an attitude, we trade him for the bag, in my opinion. I don't think he has much of an attitude. I just think this is a tactic of him deleting all things 49ers off of his Instagram page as a way to just put pressure on the Niners and let them know, I want to get paid. And look, for Deebo Samuel, the NFL stands for not for long, right? This guy has stayed healthy for 1 season, and in that season, what he did was magical. But he's going into the final year of his rookie contract that pays him less than $4 million. And for him, his level of production, what he means to this team, it's not that fair. He wants to get paid right now, and I see where he's coming from. I don't think necessarily he has an attitude about it. If he had an attitude about it, he'd be bad-talking the Niners. He'd be doing some other things extracurricularly that I think would rub a lot of people the wrong way. All he did what Kyler Murray did and wasn't as outspoken as Kyler Murray. So I see where he's coming from. I also see where the fans are coming from as well. Okay, the much anticipated trivia question answer. Who of you guessed Roger Craig? If you did, that is the correct answer. In 1985, Roger Craig not only ran for more than 1,000 yards on just 214 carries, by the way, which is crazy. He also led the NFL with 92 catches, more than 1,000 yards, but also scored a team-high 15 touchdowns, kind of like an early version of Deebo Samuel. With fullback Tom Rothman, also from Nebraska, the two formed the 49ers cornfield backfield. So congratulations to all of you who got those correct answers in. That was Roger Craig. Roger Craig, a special 49ers player. Katie Boy with this next question coming in. Do you think we'll have a top 10 offense barring injury? Yes, because there's premier players on that side of the ball. Now, they have to address offensive line. That is a massive, massive concern. Outside of Trent Williams and Alex Mack, what happens at left guard? Is it going to be Aaron Banks? What happens at right guard? Is it going to be Aaron Banks or Daniel Brunskill or maybe a draft selection? What happens at right tackle? Mike McGlinchey looks like he's 240, 250 pounds. I think the Niners can address those areas, maybe in free agency, but by now, a lot of those players are subpar, maybe in free agency as well, or in the NFL draft, But look, you have Brandon Ayuk, you have Deebo Samuel, you have George Kittle. I think Trey Lance is a special talent. Top 10 offense with Kyle Shanahan for sure, but the offensive line, a little bit of a concern. Hugo with this question, I also saw him send in a 99-cent super chat. I say sign Bosa. Let's see what Lance does with Brandon Ayuk. If Deebo has an explosive year, then sign him $28 million per. We still have him for a year. We can't sign both if Brandon has an explosive year. That is a little bit of a concern, and that is an issue. You can't pay two wide receivers premier wide receiver money. Now, I don't envision Brandon Ayuk having a crazy year that makes him one of the highest paid wide receivers in the league. You also have to remember, because he was a first-round pick, he has that fifth-year option, kind of like Bosa, kind of like what the Niners were able to exercise with Mike McGlinchey, but that's something to monitor. If Brandon Ayuk just breaks out, you're going to have to pay him if you want to keep him. Yasir, last question in this mailbag. Trade Deebo and get Watson and draft picks to help Lance. What do you think? So you're talking about Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. He's a little bit of an unknown because he played at North Dakota State, but he's 6'5", and he ran a 4.3 40 at the NFL Scouting Combine. This guy can fly. This guy can run. He has a little bit of a familiarity with Trey Lance because he played with him, with the Bison. I don't want to trade Deebo Samuel, and I don't think that Christian Watson will fill the void of trading Deebo Samuel. I'd keep him. I'd maybe even draft Christian Watson if he falls to 61, but I think that's unlikely at this point because he's vaulting up draft boards. Hold on to Deebo Samuel and just pay the dude. NFL salary cap going to continue to go up, so $25 million right now will look like a steal if he continues to produce like he has in previous seasons. If you're a real one and you are still here watching this mailbag, show me that you're a real one by hitting that thumbs up icon and liking the video. Make sure you subscribe as well. Appreciate all of the support that you give us here on the channel.